Sorry, thanks, baby.
You're welcome.
What's the name of it?
All right, people. I was muted the whole time, so we're gonna start all over again, and that's fine. Get me? And I was saying at the beginning, what was I saying at the beginning? I was saying, what was I even saying? I was singing that song. All right, look, I was muted the whole time, but you know what? It's fine. We move. But anyway, don't worry about a thing, cause everything's gonna be okay. Chelsea. I said, don't worry about a thing, cause everything's gonna be okay. Chelsea. All right. So basically, look, this is just the highlights of what happened between Chelsea and Sunderland. Why did we end up losing? Whose fault is it? Is Uncle Tosin to blame? Do you know what I mean? Is Chalobah really Chelsea standard, despite him being a Cobham graduate, and despite him helping us win the Club World Cup, and despite him helping us qualify for the Champions League for this season? Let's go. Let's find out. All right. Let's find out why we lost to the Black Cats in the month of October. Yeah. Let me make sure you know what I mean. Yeah. So look, let's just get straight into it. No long things, no delays. First of all, we're gonna get straight into the starting lineup, and I want you to see something real quick. Yeah. You see with the starting lineup, you need to pay attention. And the manager, I always feel like he always understands the teams that we're playing against. In this case, it doesn't seem like it, right? Sunderland played with a back five. Yeah, a back five, meaning it's a low block team. Meaning that's always, not always, but since the ownership of Blue Coal, it's kind of been a Achilles heel, isn't it? So it's like it's them ones where you gotta find a solution to that problem as soon as possible. How do you play against low block teams? It's funny because the low block team is similar to how we used to more or less play with Mourinho, and we were known as parking the bench. Shout out to Mourinho though. And the funny thing is, with this one, like we're playing a 4-2-3-1, and we'll get into our lineup in a minute. But it's like, are you still going to play a 4-2-3-1 against a 5-4-1? How do you counter that? Like, how do you counter a 5-4-1? That alone tells you they're playing defensive. Like that alone, think about it. Think about it logically, yeah. And there's no way of telling what tactics a manager is playing unless it's within the game to be really and truly. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, this is why I believe if the manager can find a way to be like, look at the game, obviously start with his own tactics, play his tactics, but then put himself in a position where if the opposition manager says, you know what, it's a back 5-4-1, all right, cool. The thing that what we do is be like, okay, try and get the captain, talk to the captain a bit, find a way to talk to the captain and say, look, they're playing a back five. Do you know what I mean? They're playing a back five. And then they find a way, you will know what tactics to play within that game. It's about in-game management at this point. Yeah, but anyway, as you can see, they had Xhaka, and in there, obviously, he's got experience, this, that, and the first, so that's fine, right? So So anyway, we had Sanchez in goal, Reece James, Acheampong, Tosin, Chalobah, Cucurella, Fernandez, Caicedo, Neto, George, Joao, Pedro, Santos, Garnacho, Estevao, and Guiu and Gittens. So obviously, and Jorgensen, Fofana, Hato, and Lavia were unused subs. All right. So Santos got booked. It seemed like he's getting booked every game. That's what's so mad. But anyway, look, we'll just get into the match report real quick, and then yeah, because there's no way we should have lost this game. I believe. You know what I mean? But it's funny because we had before I get into this match report. Do you remember there was a time we were on an unbeaten run at home for like years? And guess who broke that unbeaten run at home? It was none other than Sunderland. It was the Black Cats. So I don't think people should be surprised by us losing to Sunderland, but it is very shameful and it is very embarrassing and it is very disgusting, especially when at home a few days ago we beat Ajax, 5-1. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing to it. If we were on a poor run of form, then I'll be like, all right. Or do we need a red card in the match for us to just kick into gear? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, Chelsea run a 4 consecutive when comes to an end against a Sunderland side determined to stifle our attacking on a frustrating afternoon at Stamford Bridge. Again, that back 5-4-1, that is a defensive low block. We're going to look at solutions to this. Yeah, whether Maresca is going to learn how to do this. All right, so Chelsea were on top at dominant for much of the game, but Sunderland's stubborn habit of defending with all 11 players. I'm going to repeat that one more time, but Sunderland's stubborn habit of defending with 11 players within 30 yards of their own goal repeatedly grounded us out of the box before we could pull the trigger to create space for a clear chance. Do you know what that's called? That's called playing a low block. So my thing is this. The manager needs to I'm not saying he doesn't have in-game management, because he does. Yeah. But the moment you see your opposition have a mindset like this, they're playing that way. And then I'm sure they can see it on the pitch. Yeah, if the players are positioned in a certain way, they can see it. Oh, they're playing like this? Cool. Get the captain real quick, or at least the vice captain. Let's speak to them and say, listen, they're playing a back 5. They're playing this. And then the moment they understand, they put themselves in different positions, they get the team in different positions to put themselves in a position that they know how to defend and attack against low block teams. Do you get it? Because I'm not going to be funny with you. When we played against Nottingham Forest, had Nuno Espirito Santos was still the manager, yeah, I reckon that's the type of lineup or tactics he would have used against us. I still think we would have won. Don't get that twisted now. But I feel like it wouldn't have been the same scoreline, but I feel like we would have won. Do you get it? I still feel like we would have won. But that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep it moving. The thing started well for the Blues when Pedro Neto released Alejandro Garnacho to score the first goal for Chelsea and fire us into lead inside the first 5 minutes. We continued to threaten after the opener, but things changed midway through that first half. And the scrappy long throw, and this is another Achilles heel that we have to learn from. Yeah, the long throwing, the Rory Delap specialist, and we have a son of Rory Delap. Now he needs to be part of the coaching staff. Think about it. If we have him part of the coaching staff, we should be able to know how to defend against those type of set pieces. It's only right. Like, think about it. It's only right that we learn how to defend against that. Because look at when we played against Lincoln. It was the same thing. It was those long throw-ins that was destroying us. Thankfully, we managed a way to win that game. Just about. You know what I mean? When I say just about, despite what the scoreline says, we just about won that game. Do you understand? So we need to learn. Rory Delap needs to come into the coaching staff and help us with those type of situations. Do you know what I mean? And I know allegedly Liam Delap was banned from doing those throw-ins because he's got that in his locker too. So when he comes back, You know what I mean? We're gonna need that, but then again, we're gonna need him upfield. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a bit techie one still. But either way, yeah. Who would you put yourself in a position if Liam Delap can't do it? Who do you reckon can do those long throws? Leave your answer in the comments below. I guess the whole team really, but yeah. Anyway, so a scrappy long throw of a couple of lucky ricochets in a box allowed Wilson Isidore to equalize for Sunderland from close range, and that is when Mackham's began to shut up shop. Now, here's the thing: it's not lucky ricochets. It's not lucky. Do you know why it's not lucky? Because those long throw-ins are designed to do that. Go watch the games when Rory Delap was playing for Stoke City and watch how those techniques was working those boxes like that. It was mad. It was literally mad. Like, when I say mad, it's a thing of there's a technique to it. There's literally a technique to it. You can't tell me nothing. The same way you got Brazilian flair, you got the let's just call that, I don't know, what would you call it? Is it the English flair because it's a throw-in? I don't know. You know what I mean? I've never seen a Spanish club do such thing. I've just seen some English clubs do it, but you know what I mean? Like it's clear that Sunderland learned from Lincoln. Anyway, there are a couple of glimpses of goal in the second half, but nothing which stretched Sunderland goalkeeper Robin Reeves and deep into the added time. Chemsenden at Chalobah struck on the counter to give the visitors to win. Now, here's the thing. If you saw at the position where the Chalobah and Tosin were, come on. I'm sorry. You are supposed to defend that. You're supposed to defend that. You can't, there's no way you can get away with not defending that. But this is the thing about football sometimes. And because it's towards the end of the match, they switched off. But I don't care who you play against. It could be Sunderland. It could be Barcelona. It could be Bayern Munich. It could be Arsenal. It could be Tottenham. I don't care who we play against. It could be Lincoln. It could be I don't know, Accrington Stanley for crying out loud. It could be any side. Do not switch off. You need to be alert at all times. I know it's not possible, unfortunately. But the question has to be, why did the manager bring on Uncle Tosin in the first place? Why? That is a question we need to find out. Why? Was George Acheampong injured? Did he need rest? What's going on? Can he not play a full 90 minutes? What's going on? And I know some people be like, oh, what about Trevor Chalobah? Like, Trevor Chalobah is a really interesting one. I don't know whether he's genuinely playing with injury, because I really think these past few games, he's been really awful. Let's be real. But it's not like he's really that awful. Let's be real. Because at the back end of last season, but since he came back to our club, despite being mistreated, he helped us qualify for the Champions League. He helped us win the Club World Cup. He helped us win the Conference League. So what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Anyway, the Maresca, with the selection, Maresca made several changes to the starting 11 for the midweek UEFA Champions League win over Ajax, but many of those who didn't feature against Dutch side returned this afternoon. Robert Sanchez started in goal, protected by a back four of captain Reece James. Protected. We conceded 2 goals, mate. So ain't no way was it protected, mate. So Reece James, Just Acheampong, Trevor Chalobah, and Mark Cucurella, Fernandez, Caicedo remained in midfield, while Pedro Neto and Alejandro Garnacho returned to the attack. Mark Guiu spearheaded the front line. That's the lineup that should get us to win the game, irrespective of who we play against, irrespective of the tactical lineup the opposition has. That team alone should get us to win the game. I'm not being funny. I don't care who we play against. I'm that type of guy that believes we can win every game. Yeah? And I know it's not possible, but it's possible. Anyway, so flying out the blocks, Sunderland looked intent to push forward from the whistle, but we dealt with it early balls towards our box comfortably by the 5th minute, and the hopes that the visitors may have had of taking the initiative at Stamford Bridge were well and truly dashed. In lightly quick move, a Sunderland attempt to break forward was turned into an opening goal for Chelsea. Fernandez showed great timing of his challenge to dispossess Ronaldo Mandova as he tried to carry the ball into the Blues half. Neto picked it up as led a lovely pass to Garnacho's path, and from there the Argentine did the rest. A little pause in the shimmer to the left to make space, followed by a shot drilled low through the legs of goalkeeper Reeves, and Chelsea were ahead. And what I like about that move there, did you want to know something? Everyone may feel some may feel that Enzo Fernandez doesn't do much for us. What does it say here? Fernandez showed great timing of his challenge to dispossess Ronaldo Mandava. You know what I mean? That alone should let you know what Fernandez is capable of doing. He breaks up play and sets up play. Do you know what I mean? But he's like a deep playing midfielder. But I feel like in this particular situation, it was more of an attack. It's like, I don't know if he's playing. It's like he's playing like a number 6, but also a number 8 at the same time. If that makes any sense. But anyway, so obviously we see that nice, famous celebration from Alejandro Garnacho. He's first of many at Stamford Bridge. I'm gonna say it first here. First of many, yeah. Because man, he's only like, how old is he? Like 21, 22, 23? I don't know. He's still young. You know what I mean? There's still greatness from him. I still believe he's one of those that he's got a lot to improve though, like most of them. We weren't content with just one goal, though. As we continued to push up the pitch, Guiu came tantalizingly close to nicking the ball off Dan Ballard and in the Sunderland box, and Cucurella couldn't quite get enough as on a low block. Where was that? On a low, I see him low block. I'm thinking when I see low block now. Quite enough on a low cross to trouble the keeper, but we were stamping our authority on this game quickly. Stamping authority on the game quickly means we are scoring goals galore. That's stamping authority. Anyway, so we maintained that pressure, and with Cucurella having a shot charged down in a scramble, following the corner in with Caicedo's spectacular half volley that was deflected wide. But at the 15-minute mark, it was all Chelsea. Our left flank was looking like an increasingly promising area going forward. Cucurella was pushing high and narrow, causing threat himself, but also pinning back from former Chelsea winger Bertrand Traore. I ain't seen that name in a minute. You know what I mean? Football needs us. We feed football. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, creating plenty of spaces out of wide for Garnacho to attack. And, you know what I mean? Back level, however, having posed a little threat since the opening stage, Sunderland scrabbled in an equalizer midway through the first half. It came from a set piece, a throw from the corner, dropped just short of the front post and flicked on. Do you know what that was? That was the Rory Delap specialist. How do we have Rory Delap's son in our team and we're not finding a way to defend against this? This ain't the first time we come across this season. This ain't the first, and it won't be the last. So we got to find a way to get Rory Delap as part of the coaching staff. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm genuinely serious. I don't know if he's got his FIFA coaching badges, but hey, listen, if he can get his FIFA coaching badges like a fast track 2-week course or whatever, or one day, you know what I mean? Let's say one day, get me, then so be it. Because I'm tired. How are we not defending set pieces like this? A throw-in. Anyway, it broke kindly for Traore in the box, and when Joao Pedro attempted to block, he could only divert it towards it, sort of sweep it from some 4 yards out. That seemed to level the playing field as well as the scores, as the game remained pretty evenly balanced for the remainder of the first half, with little in the way of action in either box. I almost forgot to mention that my predictions, I predicted us for us to win at 4-0, and that was no disrespect to Sunderland. It was just the fact of on the back end of the previous game and even the previous Premier League game. You know what I mean? It was a good scoreline, like a very decent scoreline. Beyond just saying it's just a win, it's like it was a decent enough scoreline to be like, oh, look, we seem to have enough confidence in our abilities now. You know what I mean? But anyway, we move. All right, so The closest we came to changing that was a brilliant sliding challenge high up the pitch by Caicedo, released Joao Pedro in the box. However, he was unsuccessfully tried to tee up a teammate for a tap instead of going for goal himself, and then offside flag was raised and shows wouldn't a raised flag to show it wouldn't have counted anyway. It's mad. Again, this is where we now have to ask: is Joao Pedro a forward or is he a number 10? Because that was a move of a number 10. No disrespect. If you're a forward, you're gonna want to score that, even if it doesn't count if you're because it's offside or whatever the case may be. Look, put it this way: Nicholas Jackson, for example, he would have scored that. He would have scored that. And some of you may argue and be like, yeah, but no, he wouldn't. He would have missed a chance. Maybe he would have, but he still would have took on the chance. Striker's mentality is taking that opportunity. Anyway, we move. All right, so it was an evenly contest open in the second half, but set piece remained the most likely source of a third goal of the game for either team. Neither goalkeeper was really troubled initially, although it momentarily looked like Cucurella was going to set up the end of the James free kick, which from the right, only for Sunderland to hack it clear. Maresca introduced the youthful energy of Estevao. I really think he should have started, if I'm honest, but we move from the bench in an attempt to force an opening for the Blues. Because the reason why I'm saying I feel like he should have started is because you need someone with that creative flair that can open up low block teams. That's what I believe. Think about it. Cole Palmer's injured. So what we're going to do? Joao Pedro's not 100% fit. So what we're going to do? And he's not really, I'm not saying he's not creative like that, but he's Estevao. He's the one that can, do you know what I mean? Like to have Estevao and Garnacho or even Gittens on either wing, it helps. Do you know what I mean? That's why I feel like we scored that goal because it was, do you know what I mean? But anyway, it was a sign. So where was that? So it showed promise straight away. He seized on the loose ball in the box. Loose ball in the box. It may have been deflected wide, but it was a sign of intent, which instantly lifted the crowd as a loud roar, urging the team to spread around the stadium. Fernandez instinctively flicked a volley towards a goal from Caicedo's goal ball. I like that partnership. Excuse me. That brotherhood, I like that brotherhood. Caicedo with Enzo Fernandez. Curved ball into the box, but Rose was able to claim comfortably, and that about summed up the period of the game. A lot of effort, particularly from the Blues, but something impact defense and extremely low block. We're gonna read that one more time. I know I'm gonna see if I can zoom in. Zoom in. Extremely low block. Hey, yo, look, we have to look at it from a perspective of now the manager really has to know how to solve this problem. Extremely low block. Come on, man. We're just leaving little room in which to create a clear chance. A late blow. We kept pushing forward throughout the second half, but the Sunderland's penalty area was just too packed and defending too stubborn for us to level an opening despite our efforts. Instead, completely against the way the second half had gone, it was the visitors who snatched a late win. Do you know why that is? If you're playing tick-a-tick-a-tack football, it don't work against low block teams. I'm not sorry. It does not work against low block teams. You can't be playing from the back like that. You know what I mean? You have to play with. In fact, we'll get into it after this, yeah, and I'll show you how we will play against a low block team, how we should play. Because enough is enough. There's no way you can't tell me playing against a low block team can't work. There's a way we can. Anyway, 3 minutes into the sixth of the added time, with the Blues pushing forward in search of a goal, we were caught out by a hope of a long ball forward. You see, that's how we should have been partly playing against Sunderland. Them long balls, yeah? That's what we need to be doing. Long balls. We need those Fabregas type of passes. If you know, you know. Yeah, a Fabregas type of pass. or a Lampard type of pass. We need those type of passes or a Conor Gallagher type of pass. If you know, you know. Anyway, so let me keep it moving. So all right, we'll call. So basically, we were caught in regards to the where was that? So 3 minutes added on. Blues pushing forward for search of a goal. We were caught out by a hopeful long ball forward. Brian Brobry managed to get out at the end of it, and it just inside the box for support arrived in the form of Chalobah to place his finish into the bottom corner and deny Chelsea a shelf 2 points. You right, Bills? So yeah, so this is the thing, yeah. The admin's being too nice. The admin is being way too nice. What he should have said was poor defending from us. You see the thumbnail. Look at the positioning. You telling me any defender in his right mind, yeah, a quality defender is defending that. They'll be able to defend that. It'll be either a point where it gets deflected for a corner, or do you know what I mean? They'll just about find they'll put them off just a point where they will shoot over, or do you know what I mean? Or it will still, or it maybe still be on target, but our goalkeeper will still be able to save it, like an easy save. That's what good quality defenders do. There's no way you're telling me that can't be defended. Even if it ended 1-1, all right, cool, whatever. We dropped 2 points, but we gained a point. And what? You know what I mean? Like, it's what it is. But the fact that we lost 3 points is even worse. That's why it's disgusting, and that's why it's embarrassing, and that's why I can see why many fans are upset. But I'm saying, if you're under 13, you're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to be emotional. But if you're above 13, you're not allowed to be upset and emotional. I don't care. Yeah, we are world champions. Yeah, we are world champions. We win trophies regardless. You know what I mean? That we could be going through a rough time. Yeah, as we often. Like, imagine we were forced to be sold. Chelsea Football Club was forced to be sold. Roman Abramovich had to sell Chelsea. Guess what happened? Within 3 years, guess what we won? The Club World Cup, the Europa Conference League, and we're back in the Champions League. Come on, man. What are we talking about? There's no point in being emotional about things that we can't control. Yeah? Does it hurt that we lost? Of course. The season's not over yet. We can still win the league. But if you believe we can't win the league, you're not a Chelsea fan. If you don't believe we can win the Champions League, you're not a Chelsea fan. If you don't believe we can win every trophy there is up. Okay, but say properly. If you don't believe that we can't win every single trophy there is to offer, you're not a Chelsea fan. You're just a football fan. That's just facts. Call it what you want. Anyway, so what's next? We switched our attention to the Carabao Cup for a midweek trip to Wolves, kicking off at 7:45 on Wednesday evening, followed by a big Premier League derby away at Tottenham. Damn, we got Tottenham next? Oh, snap. And the reason why I said oh, snap, because normally we win against them. But this is a time where we absolutely need a win. We need a win, and this is an away game. Okay, the boys have to show up. Like, every one of them have to show up. They've got to show up for every game, but against Tottenham, you can't allow them to win. You can't allow them. You can't afford to make no mistakes. Or if you do make a mistake like Cucurella did, you take off your boots like he did, dash them in a bin, and then, do you know what I mean? Help us win that game like he did. You know what I'm saying? So all I want to say is, look, end of the day, we're going to take things game by game, all right? So the next game is against, obviously, Wolves. I'm confident in that game. I'm also confident against Tottenham. Don't ever get that twisted. As much as I can joke and laugh, but that's the reality. Yeah. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Do you think it was fair for us to win that way? Sorry, not win that way. Lose that way? Do you believe it's a thing where, at the end of the day, it's a game where, you know, mistakes can happen? There's certain players that need to go, but what can we do if things are not going our way. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm gonna show you how we're gonna defend them against low block teams. Give me a second. So hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notification. By the way, my name is Versatile, aka Acheampong, trusted name. You can trust when it comes to all things reactions. So yeah, I'm just get my notes up real quick because I'm just trying to make sure. All right, let me get the thing up. Okay, I know what it is. I just gotta make sure I get the right video to react to. So we're gonna come back to we'll react to George Benson stuff in a minute. So it's how to defend against against low block, and I'll put you analysis stuff. Let me see if the right one comes up. It should be the right one, I'm thinking anyway. Because this is how we got to learn how to defend against him. I think, is it this one? Hold on. Don't think it's that one. I don't think it's that one. Let me just double check. Let me double check. Okay, okay. I typed it in wrong. It's all right. By the way, my name is Verto, aka Acheampong. Don't trust the name. You can trust when it comes to all things reactions. And right now, we're going to react to how to break down a low block and create high quality scoring chances in modern football tactics. All right. So let's just get straight into it. No delays. Get me. This is even though this was uploaded 4 years ago, we're still gonna get into it because it's still relevant. All right.
When your purpose is to care for the world, you care for hearts like your very own. You push your minds.
What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be about breaking a low block and creating goal-scoring chances against a team that's going to be sitting.
I listen. If they sound a bit boring, it's not me. No disrespect. I need high energy. Do you know what I mean? Let's go.
Deeper. And before we start, please like and subscribe to the channel. You guys have been great about that, and it's been a huge help, so thank you so much for that. But without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. And the first thing I want to point out is the defensive team. A lot of times teams will play with a 4-5-1 or a 5-4-1, and even recently.
Yeah, 5-4-1. You heard that. This is why this is still relevant. A 5-4-1. That's what Sunderland were playing against us, like using that tactic. 5-4-1. So let's pay attention. Let's go.
The team that comes to mind when talking about like different formations and new ideas it was the West Brom game against Liverpool. They actually moved to almost like a 6 in the back at times, where their back four really got narrow, and then their wide midfielders then dropped in to cover the full width of the field in kind of a different fashion than I've seen before, or at least I've seen very often. So the thing we're going to want to talk about today is this is going to be just a one video, and we're just going to try and look into detail one concept of how to break down a low block, a few concepts involving pinning and exploiting key spaces. So I know that people putting together game models and stuff, there's really two processes to do that, at least from the offensive organization standpoint. And a really interesting idea that
This is really interesting. The information is interesting. I just want this guy to have energy. I'm not gonna lie, like it's like I ain't trying to disrespect his thing in it. So shout him out still, yeah, because it does take a lot of confidence to be able to put content out there like that. Anyway, do you know what I mean? But do you know, I don't know how to explain it. I'm just saying, end of the day, it would be nice to see content where it's more You know what I mean? Energy like this. This is how you do it. So before I saw a really strange one with West Brom versus Liverpool, where you know what I mean, where it was a 6 at the back, like they're playing with a back 6, but usually it's a 5-4-1. But whatever, we're gonna get into it. Boom. Do you know what I mean? Like, where's the energy? Energy. Get me? You need some Red Bull. Pause.
I've read about is coaches will actually start with their ideal goal and how they want it to finish, and then work back through the thirds of the field or through their phases of possession on how to get there. So they know where they want to end up, and then they work back on how they get there. Whereas other teams, they look at their first progression and move up the field from there. So both very interesting ideas, and both work well. Just a personal preference, and maybe just your philosophy and what you believe in as a coach. But let's get back into it. So I highlighted the assist zones, and these are the spaces we're going to look to exploit, because these are the areas where assists are at the highest likelihood, and they're just very dangerous areas. And then the goal from here is to then obviously exploit the space in front of the goal. So I can also highlight that in yellow. So then the goal would then to be exploit this area to create a high likelihood of scoring a goal. So our first example is always our rest defense is super important. So how we do that can vary, but
I'm not gonna lie, this guy's boring me, bruh. He's literally boring me. No disrespect here, but what is going on? How are you this boring? I am not gonna I am someone who's gonna keep it all the way real. This guy is boring me. I'm saying at the end of the day, you know what? We're gonna do it like this, yeah, because I'm not sorry. This guy is boring. Yeah. In fact, we're gonna continue watching for a little bit because I just want to do a little bit more research first before I get to the idea I want to do.
2-3 rest defense shape. I think that would be good for this scenario. But now we gotta look at the defense's low block, and are they playing with 4 or 5 in the back line, and what are their tendencies? Are they space oriented, or do they track runners? So pretty much the big idea is for this situation is unbalancing the team, and we can do this using wide structures, wide rotations. I'm gonna highlight here.
All right, so look, this is very boring. All right, very boring. Like, I'm gonna see the comments. I'm not gonna lie, the comments. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. Like, it has to be. The guy's boring, and if I'm boring, you can tell me and let me know if I'm boring. Get me, because that's how I need to change. So I'm put great video. Thanks, sharing this informative, great information. All right, so look, see that at Chelsea 1 year ago. 1 year ago, someone said at Chelsea. Do you know why? Because it's been our Achilles' heels. Anyway, I'm gonna go to this one, and if this is not as exciting, then I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
If you live in England and you're between 50 and 80, there's a chance you could get approved.
In-depth sports coverage from The Athletic is now just £1 a month with an introductory offer. See the link in the description to sign up.
Let's hope this is more let's hope this is more exciting. I can't even more.
The prevailing trend among the biggest and best teams is to play with pace, high pressing, and often positional play. The attempt to win superiority in certain areas of the pitch with overloads or freeing a team's best players to attack weaker, isolated defenders through patterns of movement and the occupation of certain zones. To counter this, some teams have used a passive low block. Generally, a low block is a sign of weakness, while some teams...
You see, this is more exciting. Do you see this? There's a clear difference. But let's keep it moving.
Like Mourinho's Inter Milan or Simeone's...
See. What did I say before? I mentioned Mourinho. Don't get it twisted. I know. Do you know what I mean? I know. Because they used to say that we used to park the bench. Park the bus. Get me? And what? But we were still winning games, whether it was 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 or whatever. Get me? Usually 1-0 and that. But get me? Parking the bus was one of those things.
And the occupation of certain zones. To counter this, some teams have used a passive low block. Generally, a low block is a sign of weakness. While some teams like Mourinho's Inter Milan or Simeone's Atletico Madrid have found success with one, this is because they've partnered it with lethal counter-attacking in transition and very high-quality defenders.
Oh yeah, see, that was what I was going to say. That was what I was meant to say. So we did win a game against a low block team. Do you know what I mean? And that was against Benfica. I remember now. Like I literally remember. And we were playing at home. Do you know what I mean? Think about it. Mourinho, let's think about this for a moment. He is the master of low blocks. He is the king of low blocks. You know what I mean? If you're gonna play a low block, that's how you play. You play with counter attack, and that's how Sunderland beat us. Do you know what I mean? It's fair to say, because did they not catch us on a counter? They could have easily just settled for a draw, but they said no. We can see that there's space, so we're gonna lob the ball over. We can see and know that your defenders are switched off. So we're going to do what we're going to do and create a chance to score that goal, to score a winner. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. I don't think they went with the mindset of thinking they were going to lose or go with a draw. I think they literally went with the mindset that we're going to win. It sounds bad to say, but I think that now seeing this is making me realize even more. It was like their manager got it spot on. That's just facts. Their manager got it spot on. Our manager didn't. Do you know what I mean? Just simple as. It's a game of tactics. It's a game of I want to say game of chess, but yeah, again, it's a game of chess. Because who would have thought for them going 1-0 down, how they're going to come back to win this? That's another thing. That's why we had to scoring a second goal or even trying to get a third goal, it would have been more important. But it is what it is.
Teams who employ a low block don't usually challenge for honours. It's more about security. So when we talk about a low block, what exactly do we mean? Low simply describes the area of the pitch, the defensive third. And all teams will have some instances where they have to defend this area, and even energetic pressing sides don't press as aggressively. The low block in this sense therefore requires a degree of passivity, retreating towards the goal and attempting to compact space regularly, and the absence of a press in the opposition's defensive third. So how best to approximate a low block statistically? Well, according to Opta, these 5 teams had the lowest average start distance of each of Europe's top 5 leagues.
That's mad. And this is how you know this is years ago, because Newcastle are up there now. Let's be real. Valencia, used to be up there, but this is mad. Let's go.
That is the average distance in meters from their own goal that a team's open play sequences start. Another approximation might be the percentage of a team's pressures that occur in the attacking third. This data from FBref.com and StatsBomb shows that 3 of the sides in the above table are also in the bottom 10 for percentage of pressures in their attacking third, or the opponent's defensive third. So the kind of teams that might be described as having a low block as a function of system rather than situation defend deep, start their attacks deep, and are more passive the higher up the pitch they are without the ball.
Keyword, without the ball. Without the ball. Let's rewind that one more time.
These 5 teams had the lowest average start distance of each of Europe's top 5 leagues. That is, the average distance in meters from their own goal that a team's open play sequences start. Another approximation might be the percentage of a team's pressures that occur in the attacking third. This data from FBref.com and StatsBomb shows that 3 of the sides in the above table are also in the bottom 10 for percentage of pressures in their attacking third, or the opponent's defensive third. So the kind of teams that might be described as having a low block as a function of system rather than situation defend deep, start their attacks deep, and are more passive the higher up the pitch they are without the ball.
Like I said, it's without the ball that it makes more sense. Because obviously, think about it. If you literally think about it, and just do it from a Chelsea perspective, because this is what we're here for, right? Like, Chelsea are always going to 9 out of 10 times have greater ball possession. So if you have greater ball possession, what do you think is going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, if you have greater ball possession and your opponents don't have that much ball, this is where the idea of saying, all right, well, if you have that much ball, if they are without the ball, how are they going to defend? How are they going to defend without the ball? That's the key thing. It's their positioning. It's how are they waiting for an attack? Sorry, are they waiting for a mistake? Of course they are. They're naturally going to wait for a mistake, or there's one player that knows how to just control that midfield. For Sunderland against Chelsea, it was Xhaka, whatever his name is. You know what I mean? Let's go.
On the pitch, teams playing this way will look to congest the middle and compress the space vertically.
What did I say? What did I literally just say? What did I literally just say? Did I not mention Xhaka in the middle? Because he knows how to break up play. That's just facts. I don't care what, like, I know he's a former Arsenal player or whatever, who cares? But now he plays for Sunderland. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how to break up play. Like, our midfield lost that battle that day. We lost that battle against Sunderland. The game was often won in the middle of the park. It literally is. So Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, especially Caicedo, technically had an off day. Say what you want.
This means, in effect, that they try to leave as small a gap as possible between their defensive and their midfield lines, and will often drop the attacking line back as well. This, of course, makes them hard to attack. But how do you beat a low block?
Exactly.
Well,
and this is what I think. Although we're watching this, I genuinely think it's a case of you can't be playing tiki-taka football. It's not going to work. You don't play tiki-taka football. What you do is you're going to have to find a way to do long balls. Like, I know it sounds mad and it sounds more risky because, hey, look, there's a chance if you're playing against a team that has a lot of physique, that is tall, there's a high chance that they're able to basically defend those. There's a high chance, and they'll be the most difficult teams to play against, let's be real. However, in most situations, to be able to, like, I'm not saying you don't have ball possession, but you can't be just playing from the wings. You can't be attacking from the wings. You can't be just trying to play through the middle. You have to use most areas of the pitch. You have to use, in fact, it would be better for the goalkeeper to have great ball distribution skills where they're able. Remember that time when, it's funny because we've got Wolves coming up next. Like, do you remember that time when we played against Wolves and that ball from Robert Sanchez that allowed, I think it was Noni Madueke that scored from that situation, if memory serves me correct. Like, that was out. That ball distribution was outrageous. It was outrageous. That's what we need. That's what we need. That's how you play against those teams. So it's a case of those long balls. You got to be doing that, or you have to use the Rory Delap specialist. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think. But let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Let me know. Hit the subscribe button, turn on post notification. Let's keep it moving.
Given the relative absence of a high press, it's tough to draw these teams forwards to leave space in behind. Set pieces can work, of course, but they can against any team. It's worth noting, though, that looking at assists conceded from set pieces in the Premier League last year, Burnley, Wolves and Newcastle, probably the three most low block system teams, conceded below average numbers of set pieces.
And I was talking about Wolves just now. And this is years ago. Think about it. Look at the season we're in now, 2025 to 2026. So this was years ago.
Having a go from outside the box makes more sense, as the back line has retreated, and if you can get a shot away, more on this later, it can be effective. Burnley conceded 18% of their goals from...
That's another thing. We got those in our lockers. Tyreek George can shoot and score from outside the box. Caicedo's proven that this season so far. Then also, I believe Garnacho can score from outside the box when he's really ready to. Estevao winning, and eventually there's going to be a time when he's going to be scoring from outside the box. I can almost just sense it coming very soon. Mark Guiu, I believe he's just one of those players that he's just going to naturally want to be scoring inside the box. That's just him. Joao Pedro, yeah, from time to time. Cole Palmer definitely has that on his locker. He's done it on numerous occasions. Do you know what I mean? Santos has that in his locker. So we got players that could shoot from outside the box. Let me know what the players that you believe could also shoot and score from outside the box for us. Let me know in the comments below. Why are this looking like Lacazette? Don't know why.
From outside the box, Newcastle 13.8% and Wolves 7.5%. The average was 11.9, so only Wolves bettered that. And all three teams had good goalkeepers last season. There are two main ways to score against a low block though, playing with width and playing through. The first is easier and can also generate chances for long shots. As low block teams like to be compact, this can leave space in the wide areas, both close to and further.
Let's rewind that. Didn't you just say what I've just said?
0.8% and Wolves 7.5%. The average was 11.9, so only Wolves bettered that. And all three teams had good goalkeepers last season. There are two main ways to score against a low block though, playing with width and playing through. The first is easier and can also generate chances for long shots. As low block teams like to be compact, this can leave space in the wide areas, both close to and further from the goal line. And there are two ways to exploit this. The first is to break quickly into the wide areas and look to have runners coming from deeper positions that can take defenders by surprise, often from positions between the two defensive lines.
That's why it would have been better. Like, I hear why Pedro Neto would have started, and I could get it. And I hear why Garnacho started, because that worked. But I do believe having someone like Estevao, like, had he come on earlier in the game, it would have been a different game for us. We would have probably won. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because, hold on, like, the only reason I'm saying that is because you got to look at how he plays. He plays like you're not expecting it. Like, if you're the opposition, you're not expecting it. It's like you're expecting him to do something, but you're not expecting him to. I mean, it's mad, like, the way he plays. Like, not mad, but the creative process he has in his mind. I don't know. It's like he plays at the pitch in his backyard. Put it that way. And I like that. I like that mindset. But yeah, you can't just rely on him anyway.
This has two possible effects. Either the near-side fullback stays narrow to protect the shape, in which case the attacker can get a cross in, or the near-side fullback goes out to block the cross, which leaves a space somewhere else. This could be the channel between that fullback and the near-side centre-back, which can then be attacked. Or it could be on the far side of the pitch, as the defensive...
Funny how this is blues, this is reds. What do Sunderland wear? Red. What do Chelsea wear? Blue. Look at that.
Line moves horizontally across to maintain spacing. This can allow for players on the far side to enter the box unmarked. A cross pulled into the centre and then quickly played out or half cleared to an opponent can then find a player in space to attack at the far side. And this can also be achieved by quick switches of play. Liverpool excel at this, as do Bayern Munich, stacking one side of the pitch against a low block, drawing the opposition over and then hitting a switch pass that finds the open far side, attacking it at pace. Playing through is harder and requires technical players who can again find the spaces between the lines and achieve quick interchanges.
I feel like Chelsea tried to play that and it doesn't work against low block teams. It just doesn't work.
Movement is key. You need players arriving at pace into the danger area, even if part of the pressing move is one static player who receives and passes on. Finding space between the lines is hard, and so players have to arrive between the lines as the ball does, then burst beyond before they can be closed down. Both of the above situations can also generate chances to shoot from distance, A player arriving at pace can shoot from in front of the last line of defence, which can obscure a goalkeeper's view. And players who are found in wide areas can have shooting opportunities cutting quickly inside as the defence try and scramble back across. Again, this can pose issues for keepers with deflections or an obscured field of vision. So it definitely is possible to score against teams playing in low block systems.
This is why I was saying we got players that can shoot from distance and score from distance. So it's not like it's a thing where it's a problem that can't be solved. It can be solved and it will be solved. That's a fact.
Lecce, one of the teams mentioned above, had the worst goals conceded record in Europe's top 5 leagues last year. Being hard to break down is an alternative to trying to attack when you don't have the quality, and this can also extend to the defence. But it's a conundrum faced by better sides regularly, a consequence perhaps of the financial disparities with why these sorts of attacking moves have become increasingly common. The Athletic is in-depth sports coverage that helps fans see the game from every angle. And Tifo is delighted to be able to offer full access to The Athletic now for just £1 per month. See the link in the description for details of this introductory offer. For football fans, that's access to the writing of journalists dedicated to your team, plus David Ornstein, Phil Hay, Daniel Taylor and many more. Not to mention over 400 full-time writers offering inside access and independent analysis of every team that you follow across every league that you care about. Get local expertise and unmatched league-wide perspective. The Athletic's writers are in the bubble, on the field and behind the scenes as it all happens. Catch up, go deep, and join the conversation on the most important happenings in sports.
All right. So obviously, what is it presented by the Athletic? Funny enough, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Anyway. Let's see what people say in the comments. I want to see what people are saying. I know someone's going to say we're back here because of Chelsea playing against. As a Burnley fan, I demand you to take this down immediately. That is funny, but I want to see the most recent comments though. That's funny. Let me like this comment. Anyway, somebody sent this to Onslaught. Haram ball, shameless on a way of defending. I'd like to see this video updated 2025 to see how all these things have changed. They haven't. There needs to be an update, or better yet, Chelsea FC need to learn how to play against low block teams, because how is it a problem not solved? But I am confident it will eventually be solved. All right, you know what? I'm gonna do something else. We're gonna stretch this a bit. I want to see something. How can Chelsea Chelsea play against low block teams and win? You know what I mean? That's the question I need to figure out. See, look, why Chelsea can't beat the low block, but Man City can. Do you know why? This was when Pochettino was manager, right? The thing is, you have to understand something. The reason why is because of the goalkeeper. It's because of the goalkeeper. But anyway, let's keep it moving. I just wanted to show you that real quick. Anyway, hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notification. Let's keep it moving. Now we're obviously going to react to George Benson. It's right there. 6 things we learned. Just staring in my face right now. So you might as well go watching that right now. Let's go. I said, let's go.
And stop. MailerLite helps you grow sales and save time with email. So we're going to keep this quick. Here's how we can email campaigns generate sales whenever you hit send.
Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. I can't believe
Damn.
I'm actually saying this, to be quite honest, because
Say it.
this is, quite frankly, one of the most embarrassing performances that I can remember in some time. I'm confused, to be honest. I don't really know how we managed to pluck this performance out of our backsides. When we rested players in midweek, we're on a fantastic little winning run, 4 games in a row after the stinking form that we were in, and we've let newly promoted Sunderland come to the Bridge, score a 93rd minute winner against us, go ahead of us in the Premier League table, and to be very honest with you, all of the basic core principle, fundamental, whatever words you want to use to describe it, of football, the things that you just have to be able to do to be a professional, to get the wage that these guys are getting in the biggest sport in the world, we can't do the basics right. We couldn't tick any boxes for anything.
Keywords, basics. And I'm glad you said that. And this is why I was confused about, again, it's the positioning of our defenders. And this is where it gets a bit magic, because the problem is, this is where the problem is. Because from when they scored, yeah, their second goal, let's keep it honest, we were attacking. And because we were attacking, guess what happened? They saw space. So you have to, it's one or two things. What did we do? Because imagine had we scored that winner, we would be happy, right? Because we're not going to see the problem of what happened. Do you know what I mean? This is what's so mad. How do we play against a team like Sunderland, and where it's 1-1 towards that 90th minute, or we're drawing until the 90th minute, but we need a winner, and then everyone goes all out trying to attack, like every single Chelsea player. So you're leaving, and obviously the 2 defenders are at the back thinking, you know what I mean? It's mad, but I don't know. Let's just keep it moving. No, I don't know.
Thing today of the most simplistic of natures. This Chelsea game, even the start, right? And I know we scored an early goal, so it'd be weird for me to sit here and say that the start was bad, but the start of the match was quite bad. We looked a little bit off the pace. Sunderland were up for it, and we're misplacing passes here and there. Garnacho, huge credit to Garnacho, scores his first Chelsea goal. It's a beautiful finish. Neto gets the assist, but other than that, Neto was very poor. Garnacho drills the ball under the legs of the goalkeeper 4 minutes into the game, and you're thinking, right, when Eunice and I sat there on Shootout, which, by the way, subscribe to Shootout, link in the description, we're there saying how many goals are Chelsea going to score? Is it going to be straightforward? Are we going to get this result? 3 points at home to Sunderland is an absolute must. And the way that we have given this away today, the way that we've defended, is embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And serious questions here need to be asked about.
You don't want to call it defended. I can't even call it defended. We didn't defend.
Because once again, we have gone on a nice little run of form. We've thrown it away. We've gone 1-0 up in a game of football, and then somehow we don't understand what killer instinct is. We don't go for the jugular. We don't go and attack more. We don't go and try and press more and push more. We don't do any of it. We just slow everything down, and then every single pass, cross, shot, it's like we all were playing with parachutes on our back today. Where's the speed? Where's the intensity of this team?
That's another reason. That's another way to beat a low block team, is pace, aggression. Because against Benfica, that's exactly what we were doing. Pace and aggression. Pace and aggression. Like pace and aggression, attacking well, defending well. Like that's what was working. So that was another thing. So you know what? I don't know what happened, because obviously, like I said, there was players that was rested. So, and the play, like I said earlier, that was started. Come on, man. It only makes sense for them to start. But for them to start, they have to do well. But I don't know, man. It's mad. Like, it's mad. It's mad. But listen, it is what it is, really. I mean, we can moan, we can complain, but the result is the result, isn't it? It's how the boys end up, turning this result around and be like, you know what? We lost this game. We got Wolves next. Let's do our best to try and win that. Then after that, we got Tottenham. Let's win that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the mentality after the game. You know what I mean? After the game, you can't really be. It's different because it's not like it's magic. You know how some people with football, sometimes there's a thing where you can have a dip in form. I don't think that's that. I think our dip in form came at a time where it was inevitable, but at the same time, this time, I don't know. It's like the bounce back. I don't know. It's hard to explain, man. Let's see what happens.
Chelsea, this is one of honestly, Tottenham away next week, right? This is the kind of match that you win and you keep building this momentum, but I feel like the whole bubble has burst here again. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Newly promoted sides come to Stamford Bridge and it's like, it's a gift. This is Sunderland. Credit to Sunderland, I will say that. They came with a game plan, 5 at the back, 4 in the middle, Bertrand Traore. Like, how have we lost to this team? How have we been beaten at the Bridge by this Sunderland side? Everything today was off. And listen, I'm just going to go through the boxes now because I think we might as well just get this over and done with. First of all, it's a red for Pedro Neto. There was a moment in this game today where, for me, Neto should have been taken off immediately afterwards. It's a through ball to full Garnacho, doesn't make the right pass, hits it with his left foot, no speed on it, no pace on it. It's as if there's like super glue on the bottom of the ball and it was stuck to the grass, like a cat dragging its backside across the flipping lawn.
Yeah, black cat.
Everything about this.
Stop worrying if the price up or down. If you compare the price of Bitcoin in different exchanges,
I don't even know what to say. Like I'm never usually lost for words in a match review, whether it's like a positive result, even a 0-0. Usually I can muster up the courage to say the right things or say how I feel about this. But I've not seen an abject performance from Chelsea like that. Even the Man United game, like at least we went down to 10 men in the first 15 minutes. You can kind of understand it, and then Maresca's substitutions were poor. But today, man, what was wrong with Neto? He got the assist for Garnacho, yes, we can say that, but just poor all in all. Shooting, box number 2 is a red box for shooting, because apart from one save I think that Roof's made in the second half, there were shots on target, and don't let the stats fool you, okay? Because the majority of those shots were feeble. Countless times were either skying it, just basic things, leaning back.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to understand something. If the shooting is off like that, and we're playing very slow and sluggish, it goes to show. And this is what's so mad. You can't even say it's because the boys travel to the far end of Europe to play in the Champions League or whatever the case may be, or is it international break and the players are tired. You can't even have that excuse. Do you know what I mean? You literally can't, because the players that came on, most of them didn't even start against Ajax. So now you put yourself in a situation where you're like, all right, well, if that's the case, then what's going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's just they're tired. Maybe they're just tired. And again, let's be honest, although we are used to playing midweek football, someone not used to just playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday and then soon after playing Saturday or Sunday, irrespective of whether they started or not. Could that be it? I don't know. You're playing at home and you're putting in a poor performance. And now you can understand why some fans don't want to be shouting at the Bridge from start to finish, because you're not, do you know what I mean? But again, is the atmosphere good enough for the players to just be to show up to the point where the opponents are scared? That's how the atmosphere needs to be. But anyway, let's go.
Not getting your head over the ball. Where's the venom? Where's the power? Shots on target, but it's literally rolling into the Sunderland goalkeeper's hands, who could not have had an easier day. From the moment Garnacho scored that goal, did we ever really look like scoring again? Not really. Everything was too pedestrian, too slow and mundane. Box number 3 is a red for the passing. Even Caicedo today, I thought he was off of it. The amount of times Sunderland were able to break the lines and play through.
Like I said it. I said it. The midfield for any game to be won, it's won in the midfield. Caicedo had an off game. It's rare for me to even say this, but he had an off game. And for him to have an off game, that must have meant Xhaka had a great game in that respect, which he clearly did because he helped his team win 2-1. Unfortunate facts. Let's go.
Where were Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez today? And I very rarely ever have a bad word to say about Caicedo because he very rarely ever puts in a shift that's questionable. But all throughout the field, whether it was Joao Pedro, the ball bouncing off of him, we couldn't find our men. It's as if we've forgotten who is in a blue shirt, who our teammates are. Everything, honestly, passing, shooting, the whole lot, broken. It's a green box for Garnacho. I think he deserves credit because he comes off very early.
Build a website you love with Wix, where your words
early in the second half, and obviously you guys know it, I wanted Estevao on the pitch. I wanted him to be starting, and I think after this he's got to be starting because we needed magic today. And obviously when he comes on, there wasn't really any moments of magic. He doesn't really do too much. But I think taking Garnacho off was the wrong call, to be quite honest. And I don't know what would have happened there because Estevao obviously isn't going to come on and play on the left wing. But I think Neto needed to come off, I think, today. And I think Maresca's obviously always tries to keep Neto out there on the field because Neto does a lot more defensive work. And I don't necessarily think you get that from Garnacho. I think Garnacho can also be a passenger and just be looking at things when it comes to the defensive phase of the pitch. Even the goal, maybe he could have got tighter. I'm going to say maybe Josh Acheampong should have been coming out and that would have been offside. But he was still on the goal line. But Chelsea are just watching the world go by, and losing at home to Sunderland is just unacceptable.
Not only is it unacceptable, it's embarrassing, it's disgusting, it's pathetic. But hey, listen, I'm glad George Benson has seen it from this perspective.
In every single stretch of the imagination. Box number 5 is a red for the crossing. Because when I look at Chelsea's wingers, okay, Garnacho, Gittens, didn't really do anything when he came on, so I can't really put him in this bracket today. You got Estevao, you got Neto. These aren't bad wingers. Sunderland would want every single one of those wingers in their team. I'm sure of it. Why is it that the basics of crossing the ball into the box, we can't even do that? How we can't find our men? Mark Guiu was a passenger today. I don't really remember him having any serious touches of the ball. So when you're crossing and crossing and crossing, there's nobody in the box. There's no one there. Honestly, man, like, genuinely, this could be one of the shortest match reviews I've ever done because it just doesn't need to be anything other than it was just awful. The final box is a red for defending. Didn't exist today. None of it existed. Reece James, I thought, was slow and poor. What I don't understand is how we looked so fatigued. I went out last night, got home at 4 in the morning, I did, yeah? Had a great time, had a lovely Friday night, enjoying myself. It looked like I was on the pitch. If I was playing there, this would have been me. Everything about it was too slow every single time. Passing sideways, so slow. I cannot wait for Liam Delap to come back in this team because we need someone to get the ball to. And I think we were reluctant to put the ball in the box today.
That's the thing. If we're playing passenger football like that, is Liam Delap going to get service? That's the issue. If Mark Guiu's not getting service, this is the issue. I just think it just comes down to the fact of if the manager can tell the boys, listen, we had a poor game against Sunderland. You lot are better than this. You lot need to play with more pace and play with more aggression. I don't know why you're reserving energy. I don't know what that's for. But listen, if you want us to go win trophies, you want us to win the league, you're going to have to play better than that. In the next game, I want to see you play better. Unless if you don't play better in the next game, you're not starting the next game, regardless of how well you do in training. I'm picking someone from the under 21s, and if they don't do well, I'll pick someone from the under 15s or the under 18s, whatever the case may be. That's the ruthless mentality he needs to have.
Because maybe no confidence in Guiu. I'm not sure. I don't know what just happened. Chelsea have been beaten by Sunderland at Stamford Bridge. And well done to Sunderland, because you're having a fantastic season. You've come to Chelsea today with a game plan. You frustrated us, but look, we are the architects of our own downfall because we couldn't do anything right. Nothing at all. Nothing good to say. Well done, Garnacho. That's a good thing, I guess. I know this has probably been one of the worst match reviews ever, but I'm disgusted by what I just saw.
If you use legal...
Let's see what people say in the comments real quick. Obviously, I'm going to see the most latest one. I'm done with this football. Arsenal win the league. Don't do that. Most Chelsea fans rate Chalobah, but I don't. But being slow strategy. But is being a slow or strategy? Or we don't know what to do. So what I'm going to put is, at the end of the day, it comes like the boys didn't want to show up and play for the badge. So maybe next game but the next game is we will win. Let's not get too hasty now. It is what it is. We are Chelsea, so we should not have any doubts in our club, despite the awful result. Like we shouldn't. Let's be real. Anyway, let's get to the next one. Shout out to George Benson. Next we'll react to Blue Lions TV. Shout out to the EFC. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your post notifications. If you're a Chelsea fan, football fan, get me. Let's keep it moving. I don't know why it's on mute, but anyway.
I need to get something off my chest after this performance today. I hope that I won't just be boiled down to doing some mindless run. No. But today, I do want to have a little bit of a moan. And I want to moan about this inefficient play in front of defenses football that has seen no progression or no improvements now in like 1.5 years.
I said it. We can't be playing tiki-taka football against low block teams. It just doesn't make no sense. It literally makes no sense.
Can we discuss that? Can we have an honest conversation around that? I'm looking at the stats in the second half, yeah? A team that's going for it in us. We had 0.24 expected goal threat compared to Sunderland's 0.34. Sunderland had a greater expected goal threat compared to us throughout the entire game. And when you watch games like this, I think it's pretty obvious to see why. It's pretty obvious to see why we have no solution to break down these defenses, because for the last year and a half, I've been seeing this nonsense where 4 man will just hang in the opposition's goal box, waiting for some miracle ball, waiting for some cross that they're not equipped to deal with. Yeah, we didn't sign 6-foot guy giants to attack headers. This isn't a viable way for us to break teams down with. And for the life of me, I'm just completely shocked that this is the only solution that we keep turning to.
This is why, in this case, you have to blame the manager, right? You have to play the manager, but at the same time, can you blame the manager?
Got 99 things to do and SEO too? Use SEMrush's SEO toolkit with AI to...
Good thing about it, it's the manager. Yeah, we can blame the manager, but 2, no, we can't. Do you know what I mean? It's the manager's fault in regards to selecting the team, selecting the tactics, but also it's down to the players. So if the players are not good enough to execute the plan, that is what it is when it comes to low block. The question now becomes: this is where we need Saraya, whatever her name is. She needs to ask that question: how can you play against low block teams and defend against low block teams, especially when they start to do the long throw-ins? Like, how do you plan to solve this problem? So you're gonna have to ask that question to Enzo Maresca, because every time she asks a question where there's a problem that needs solving, we manage to solve that problem somehow, some way. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing Enzo wasting his talents attacking crosses. Cucurella, goal hanging. Yeah, players that should be combining, making third man runs. Yeah, movements to pull apart defensive shapes. These guys that can influence what we do on the ball aren't doing it, and it's baffling. Yeah, it's the same four guys standing and loitering in the books like they got nowhere to be, like they got nothing to do in this game, and it's just useless crosses from the left hand side or from the right hand side. I don't understand how this is the only solution. A lot of us watch a lot of football outside of our team, yeah? We see how teams break opponents down. Some like Madrid, you know, insurgent, like inspirational counterattacks where their player quality shines through. Teams like Barcelona, the third man runs and movements for days, yeah? Constantly looking to probe and test how strong the opposition's defensive line really is. Do we do that enough?
Yeah, we definitely do that enough. But give me a second. I want to quickly do something. I'm going to continue playing, but I want to quickly do a quick research or something.
Do any of those things, yeah? Absolutely not. And I think what just kind of hurts what we do offensively is the fact that we just kind of restrict ourselves to playing mindless crosses because the only thing we're thinking about is potentially not giving away a counter-attack, which is the most ironic thing we did to lose this game, where Tosin and Chalobah don't deal with the ball at the halfway line. Brobby is just holding man off for years, and no one finds Tawi making that late man run. Yeah, we end up beating ourselves.
And the fact that no one could find him or see it just shows me how they switched off. They literally switched off. There's nothing else you can tell me. They switched off. Chalobah and Tosin, they both switched off. They both switched off. In that moment, they switched off.
Playing this nonsense football. Now, I'm not here to say, and I hope you guys, you know, some of you guys is like type first before you give guys a few seconds to get their thoughts across, yeah? Obviously, this doesn't completely embody us, but this type of football embodies an aspect of the system, and we have to have that conversation, and I hope you guys get involved in this chat today about why we struggle against rest defenses. Anytime we have over...
The reason why we struggle against low defenses, if you want to know the real truth, the real truth is the fact of it's the way the manager sets up the team. And one can, okay, yeah, we've had Maresca for, this is technically his second season, but if you think about it, it almost feels like the owners want us to play this tick-a-tack football. They want us to play that way. They don't want us to play like a boring football. There's a price to pay when you play boring football and still win trophies. You understand? The price is, oh, it's going to look like ugly football. And do you know what I mean? No one wants to look at ugly football, apparently. But for me, a win is a flipping win, mate. You know what I mean? I don't care how we get them. We just win. Yeah? But then you got the argument of, can you win? They're playing, you know, quote unquote pretty football. Like for who? For what? Oh, what, you want to get high value for ticket for people that go to watch the matches? All right, cool. That's fair. That's the fair. But the trade-off is when you play against teams that sit back. Do you know what I mean? More often than not, unless we got someone like a goalkeeper that got a high quality ball distribution, it's going to be very challenging to play against those teams. Unless we got a player in our team that can also like ping off balls, like long balls, where the passing is accurate. And I'm going to say 9 out of 10 times because it's a human thing to really think that way.
70% possession, I get nervous. I get worried because I know what game's about to come here. It's just a bit too simple and easy. I think we all predicted that Sunderland was going to use a 5 at the back setup. Yeah, they all do that when they come here, and they get amazing success against us. Amazing success.
You see? All right, I did a quick research. This may not be 100% accurate, but I'm going to figure out. So, says, so the question I asked this thing was, what teams have played low block and Chelsea FC 1 since the Blue Coat era? Luton, we won 3-0 in the Premier League against the newly promoted side that often sat deep. We won Fulham 1-0 in January 2024. A typically tight derby. Those are typically tight anyway, with heavily defensive structures. Like playing derby, I hate playing derby most of the time. I really hate. Do you know why? Because they're also a physical team. Newcastle, we won 3-2 against them in the Premier League. And then we beat Bournemouth 2-1. That side, while capable of offense, after deployed a deep block against the Big Six. Then in the Club World Cup matches, victories against certain lower tiers. Look at this. Benfica. And we beat Benfica again, this time when Mourinho was a manager. Do you see what I'm trying to say? So it's not like we can't play against low block teams. They're literally, we can, and we can win. So I think what needs to happen is the manager needs to use the template he has created. The ones where he's been in charge, we have won. He should now understand, we do not play against low block teams. So this is what needs to happen. Do you know what I mean?
I just felt like there was a few things wrong. Number one, like I said, why was Acheampong taken off? The guy was a recovery G code for us today, man. And if he was there, I guarantee this is a draw today, and this ain't a loss. Let's keep it real. Yeah. I'm also a bit baffled by using Neto and Garnacho. They're good players, but this is why I was being so adamant in my preview that I need to see 1v1 carrying threat, that type of excellency where you can, constantly have that high efficiency rate to get past your man. And with Neto, he doesn't really do that if he can't maybe use his physicality to overpower his fullback. He wasn't going to get that today against a Sunderland team that play like real men and weren't here for none of the BS that we're here to offer. Garnacho, the guy scored a really good goal. They're the type of opportunities our wingers don't get enough of, yeah? They want that space to run towards goal instead of being kept out wide where they have to kind of make things up from scratch. But I just felt like it was Gittens that was needed today. Someone that can have a more consistent threat coming inside and going outside. And I think with the confidence he showed against Ajax, both the confidence they showed, if we just had more reliable quality from out wide, but there's a higher chance that Estevao and Gittens are going to get past their man. And if they do that, that's going to maybe create a bit more space for us. It could have helped the team out a little bit more. And I'd rather see these Garnacho Neto guys use their power against tired defenders as the game's coming to an end. I think that was a missed opportunity big time today. And it resulted in a game where, no big chances made whatsoever. 8 shots, nearly all of them got blocked. A game where, again, the strikers, the attacking players are just left there to suffer. It's a very selfless role you're playing.
And this is the problem. I feel like the manager... there's a lot I want to say. I don't
playing as a striker in this setup. We'll never see a guy score 25 plus goals a season as a striker in this setup. It's impossible. You have to do too much selfless work. Runs out wide, pressing from the top, being a platform, dropping deep. And on top of that, you can't even consistently rely upon excellent service in the box because you're not playing quickly enough. Yeah, because we move the ball too slow and too passively. It's really one of the most difficult roles to have right now. And am I even surprised that Guiu didn't do anything against Sunderland? Probably not. And I think we should have realistic expectations for when Delap comes in, because it's going to be too easy for too many of you guys to just instantly be like, oh, Delap's back, the football's coming back. No. He's a promising guy.
No, yes, this is what I was going to say. Like, ended up, yeah, he is a promising guy. Not only is he a promising guy, we got to remember, we didn't buy strikers or even that much players in general that are the finishing product. You understand? It's like we're developing players. So this is another reason why it becomes a bit of, should we be arguing against, like, once we get the result, like whether it's a good result or bad result or mere result, should we be up in arms if results don't go our way? Because we have to understand the players we have and understand the position we're in. But at the same time, we are Chelsea Football Club. Do you know what I mean? The DNA in us is we're designed to win trophies, yeah, top honors. That's what we're designed to do. So when we lose, it's like, But you know what? Again, we can still win the league. If we're talking about the Premier League, we can still win the Premier League. We can still win top honors this season. Get me? Ain't no harm in believing.
He's a really good striker, but he only scored 12 goals last season. He's not going to be the guy to single-handedly make sense of something that's, let's be serious, it's above and beyond the players. Personally, I feel like, from my own perception, and this is where you guys, listen, I'm not the expert, let's have a conversation. Please let me know your perceptions on our issues, breaking down rest defenses. But part of me thinks this is down to the inverted stuff, yeah? This is more of a training ground tactical issue. I just see too many things that we don't do compared to many other teams that find opportunities against rest defenses. Like, I'm sorry, us fans, we've been watching this for the last year and a half. Like, we're constantly just seeing the same bait moves down the left, down the right, sideways pass.
No, look, I hear me out, yeah? I just think it's just down to pace and aggression, yeah? Had we played with more pace and aggression, we're winning, without a shadow of a doubt. It's like what George Benson said, right? We were too slow and sluggish. And I've noticed that when we were playing in the Conference League, in the Europa Conference League, the first half, for most of the games, we were starting off slow and sluggish. But the second half, we played with more pace and aggression, came out the block, started winning. Do you know what I mean? Creating more chances and ended up winning. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's not like it's impossible for us to do. Like, it's impossible for Enzo Maresca to do. It's not impossible. We have beaten low block teams before, and we will continue to. Yeah, let's forget this for a moment. The one thing I do want us to do is defend against those long Rory Delap throw-ins. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got Rory Delap's son as our player. Yeah. Now, surely we can hire his dad to say, you know what, can you teach us how to defend against those? Do you know what I mean? Because he is the creator of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or he's not necessarily the creator of it, but like, he more or less made it more famous. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we got to learn how to defend against that. That's I think that's more of our Achilles heel at this moment. The low block teams, we can win against them because it's been proven that we have, especially under Maresca as manager. Yeah, so do you know what I mean? It's sad to see that we lost against Sunderland, but listen, there's many ways to skin a cat. Pun intended.
In the middle,
go.
yeah.
So
one guy taking us.
Don't come for me, RSPCA or whoever. Do you know what I mean? Or Battersea Cats and Dogs Home. It's just an English colloquial term. Do you know what I mean? Let's go. Meaning that there's many tactics that can be deployed for Chelsea to start winning more against low block teams.
Outside the box every 10 minutes that gets blocked. And then 4 guys in the box waiting for some cross or something to fall to them inside the box. We didn't buy players that can kind of take advantage, that can kind of like dominate from 50-50 ball situations. They don't have the strength. We didn't sign guys who are 25, 27. There's no Osimhen. Yeah. What other like big midfield players are there? You know, there's no Milinkovic-Savic, there's no box crashes, there's no Marinos, there's no big guys like that could really take advantage, yeah? Look what Arsenal did against Newcastle. They were able to pump balls in the box. Why? Because they got some of the best aerial threats in this entire league, bro. That's why they're allowed to do that, because they have a better chance of executing that compared to us, but we can't do that. We sign guys who play ball to feet, movements. Yeah, I need to see more of that, Maresca, against teams like this year. More of that, because if there's one big criticism, I think his biggest criticism, and there aren't many, let's not be dumb now. There aren't many, but there is one big one he has. It's the solutions we find against rest defenses. Anytime a team comes out 5 at the back, it's done for us. When they match us out wide, double up against our wingers.
No. Time out. Nini, time out. No. I'm not having that. I'm not having that. Because we have... Do you know what I want to find out? I want to find out something real quick. Let me go... Let me see if I can go to it from here. Let's go to Chelsea's website, go to our website, go to men's team, go to fixtures, go to results, click accept and close. Where's the game against Benfica? All right, so the game against Benfica, we'll go to match center. I want to see the tactics. Okay. Not here. Let me see. Match news. All right, let's keep it moving. I'll find it though.
They want us to play in front of them. They know that we have no combination plays. I was seeing Joao Pedro desperately trying to do a few back flicks here and there. There's no one near him to do that. There's no one to kind of form that type of relationship, which he's missing now that Cole Palmer's and Delap aren't in the team. Yeah, so when you don't have even like that.
This is why Mark Guiu was playing. I was shocked. Like, okay, Mark Guiu and Joao Pedro are going to have that moment. Let's see.
Possibility to kind of create something from nothing. You're just left being this stale, boring team that's just playing in front of defenses. And the opposition are waiting for you to do that because they know they're going to win every single header that comes their way. We played 29 crosses in the books here. For me, I even think that's a bit embarrassing.
Great ideas can come from anywhere. With Wix, you decide where they go.
29 crosses. That's the only thing we had in our heads to find a way past Sunderland. No 1-2 movements. No dribbles from out wide on the right-hand side from someone coming inside to take shots off, yeah? No balls over the top. No nothing, man. It's just like, it's not good enough. And I've been saying, until you actually see us finding solutions of winning against this type of team.
No, see, speaking of solutions, I was looking at this, I'm thinking, what happened, Yeah, because we beat Benfica 4-1 in the Club World Cup, yeah? And you know what's mad? We wasn't playing a 4-2-3-1. In fact, Benfica were. Do you know what tactic we were playing? A 4-3-3. Is that what is playing a 4-3-3 a way to set up against against a 5-4-1? Let me know in the comments below. Or 4-2-3-1.
Tactic. We're never gonna win the league. Yeah, we're built to be more of a cup team right now. When the games open up.
No. See, look, we cannot have no negative thoughts. Oh, we're built to be a cup team. No. We're our Chelsea Football Club. A season is a season. Look, who would have thought that Liverpool will go on this such a bad run? Nobody. Everyone expected, since Isaac ended up becoming their new striker, alongside Bayern Ekitike and them man there. It's like you would have expected them to do even more better, but they haven't. So what are we talking about? Do you get it? Come on, man. Let's cut the crap. Cut the crap.
That's we're at our best. But outside of that, you guys, until we find real big boy solutions against these low block defensive teams that come here and they defend so easy. It was so easy for Sunderland. Embarrassingly easy for Sunderland, man. And I just couldn't for the life of me. Like, it's like the definition of an insanity. You're seeing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I'm just thinking, come on, Maresca, you're a top manager. You need to go to the drawing board. I'm hoping like Soraya is going to be asking some big questions post-match, just to try and get age and understand from the manager's perspective why the game state ends up being the same, labored, mechanical, been there, done that, seen that type of football, that we always play against this type of tactic every single time. I don't know, man. It's a bit frustrating because I don't know. For me, I think maybe player personnel. For me, maybe not forcing the inverted stuff all the time. Do I need to see Cucurella in an attacking mid position? But that could have been Estevao. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I'd rather see Reece James have the opportunity to get down the right-hand side, but at least if Reece James is putting a cross in the books, yeah, it's going to be 10 times better than anyone else. Let's keep it real. I'd rather see those type of possibilities open up. I was even having mad thoughts like Genesis Antwi.
Don't mind me looking down at my phone and that, because I'm trying to find solutions as well myself. So I want to say something.
I just feel like he's the type of guy. Listen, I'm just kind of, I'm going a bit far off now. I'll hold my hands up. But the reason why I'm making this point is just, I'm just seeing from like a profile point of view of, you know, a guy that can get at his man from the byline, that's always looking to be positive, always looking to go forward. That's the type of option that you kind of need if you want to have Estevao and co like roaming and coming inside. Like the football isn't, the way we set up isn't creating those types of possibilities. That's my issue. We limit the possibilities we have. And I just think when you're forcing the inverted stuff, what is the point sometimes? I'd rather end the game if we have a lead or something to protect with the inverted stuff, having another guy in the middle. Calm. But I just don't think sometimes that you really need to have that. Yeah? What sums it up, you and Joao Pedro did nothing today. There was no combinations from none of them. There was nothing. You didn't even see both these guys at the same time looking to make runs between defenses. That's a bare minimum, bro. That's a bare minimum. If you got 5, yeah, you got Joao Pedro here, you got Mark Guiu there. You're not even seeing that. So what? So if a ball's coming in the flipping box, what's gonna happen then? I'm sorry, man. It's you guys have been watching me for a long time. It's not the first time that I've moaned about this. Yeah, I've moaned about this because really, like every time I watch us play a game, I'm always just kind of low-key crossing my fingers and praying it ain't gonna be this type of game, because this is laborious. It's a little bit boring, and you just know that you have this innate hunch and intuition that you're not gonna get nothing from this game, realistically, right? Sunderland, credit to them, they played like they knew they could beat us. From their really aggressive start in the first half to their tactical discipline at the end, holding their shape, frustrating us, and waiting to pick their moments, even the subs that was made by Lebrigas. I mean, come on, man. They knew exactly how to beat us. And it's not the first time teams who set up this way kind of know that if you frustrate us and bide your time, we'll probably implode near the end. And there's something to get.
It's funny as you mentioned that, because I'm literally trying to do more research, and you know what I just realized? It said, look, because they're basically saying the best way is when Chelsea are starting a 4-2-3-1 meets a 5-4-1 low block, Maresca's solution is fluidity. Shift into typical in his possession shape, the 3-2-5, to maximize positional and numerical advantages in the attacking half. The opponent's 5-4-1 is extremely compact, centrally relying on its 5 defenders and 4 midfielders to eliminate space. So Chelsea must use overloads in wide and half paces. This is why if Pedro Neto is not doing good enough, unfortunately, he needs to be taken off, right? And the only one that there's only 2 wingers that we could really rely on, if that. Garnacho was doing well, so he should have stayed on. Estevao should have came on earlier. Do you know what I mean? Because then it's like you're gonna have to do with 2 of the wingers, and the fact that Estevao can come in the middle. Do you know what I mean? But he's gonna stay out wide anyway because of the game plan. So you got to naturally think with Enzo Maresca's plan to defeat a low block, he's going to have to start Estevao Willian more often than he would want. It's mad to say because Estevao Willian is still a young player, but while Cole Palmer is unavailable, we need Estevao Willian's magic. Do you know what I mean? And yes, he did play some minutes, but it wasn't enough minutes for him to create the magic that was needed. Do you know what I mean? And we can't always rely on his magic either. That's another thing. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying we have to remember he's still a young teenager, bro. Let's go.
From this game. So please, you guys, like in the comment section, I want to have like a community-wide conversation. What is your takes? What are you not seeing? What is your issue maybe with our inability to really do anything against rest defenses? Get involved in the conversation, you guys, and I'll catch you guys later with more videos. Love. Cool.
So yeah, that's what my feeling is. The solution, the key solution to dismantle a low block without compromising Maresca's positional play. No, hang on. Give me a second, please. Because we want a real solution. All right. Anyway, let's hit this like button, turn on the post notification. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. Anyway, no idea why Acheampong was taken off, and that's another thing. Why was he taken off? Anyway, yes, completely baffling. Our wingers always played the ball inside, no take on, slow counter attacks, lack of intensity, lack of pace, and then we have Maresca baffling shots. So what's going to happen? Our crosses ain't to create dangerous scoring opportunities. It's settling for crosses because we can't break down defenses. I hear that still. I remember when Glenn Hoddle was saying sometimes against a low block, sit back and let them come on to you. Then hit on the break. Trouble is our defense good enough to do that. Our attack is. That is actually interesting. And knowing Glenn Hoddle is he used to manage us at one point as well. So do you know what? Glenn Hoddle might be right. He might be, but I don't know. Because you don't want to because the thing is, if they're pressing, right? They're pressing. There's a chance that they are more likely to attack. Do you see what I mean? They're more likely to attack and score goals. That's what happened against us when we were playing against first of all Lincoln. I remember that game. That game was mad because the way they were pressing, you could tell they were going to score. Like you can literally see it. Even when we were playing against Crystal Palace, even though their goal was ruled off, the way they played, you could tell as soon as Eze grabbed that ball for that free kick, you knew it was going to the back of the net. I knew it was going to the back of the net, but thankfully it was ruled off. But yeah, do you know what I mean? But let's speak about solutions, yeah? The real solution to dismantle a low block is not a complex system, but a simple, aggressive change in passing and movement philosophy. I said it before, yeah? Passing aggressively, yeah? Immediate vertical on the ball switch, The moment the ball is switched from one side of the pitch to the other, of the receiving player must immediately look forward to the play of line breaking forward, breaking passes, rather than checking back or recirculating sideways. And this is what we tend to do. We tend to do sideways passes, sideways. That's why we need more creative players on the field at that time. We need explosive runs, all right? Overloads, focus on 2v1s or 3v2 overloads. And we use Mavericks in power. Do you know what I mean? So that's why we need Cole Palmer back immediately. Like, we need him back immediately. Either way, I'm going to put this either way. There. Hold on, give me a second. But yeah, either way, yeah. Either way. Wait, hold on. Either way. Maresco has helped us win against low block teams. And to be honest, it is also on the players, because if they start sluggish, that is on them, not the manager. But the manager can get these subs wrong. But we need JT type defenders. Do you know what I mean? We need a John Terry type of defender. I'm not sorry. And look, there's been times when we played some games and lost some games when John Terry was in defense. That's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we haven't won every game with him or drawn most games when he played, but we need someone who can organize the defense. Yeah. Who is that one in the back line that can truly organize defense? Reece James is our captain, and I respect that. But he needs to organize our defense. Yeah? He needs to organize our defense. I think we need to start back from the basics. Hear me out. This sounds mad. I think we need to start playing back from the basics when it comes to low block teams as well. That's another thing. Just play basics. The aim is to, you know what I mean? You know them ones where the aim is just to flip and win the game. You know what I mean? Not try, because you're trying to outsmart the opponent. Sometimes it don't work like that. You know what I mean? It don't work like that. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Because to be honest, we are a football team that could beat low block teams. I'm not even joking with you. It can happen. It will happen. It's just down to when it happens. The next game against Wolves. You know what I mean? And let's keep it simple. If you believe we're going to win, hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications. I'm not here for that negative mindset. Oh, we don't have to play low block teams. They are Achilles heels. No, they're not really Achilles heels. No, the long threads are not really Achilles heels. They are a problem, and we do need to solve that problem. But that's for the manager to work on, and you know what I mean. And he will work on it. Do you know what I mean? He will work on it. You know what I mean? We will be a better side. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, because it's about consistency. And hey, we're world champions, all right? We're world champions. Anyway,